Just in time. Breakfast is ready.
Looks good.
I finally learned not to burn English muffins.
And you made my eggs just the way I like them.
Yeah, well, maybe practice makes perfect. What time's football practice today?
5 o'clock after my chem lab.
You got a test?
Second one this week.
How'd the first one go?
Don't ask. Let's just say that I better ace this one.
Russ, you've always been good in chemistry. What's the matter, old man Crenshaw coming down your throat?
Nothing more than usual. Just that my mind's had other things on it lately, that's all, besides formulas, you know.
It's me, huh? It's us. Russ, you're letting it interfere with your schoolwork, and it's going to ruin your chances for med school.
It's not that serious. Okay? Hey, listen, everything is fine. You're back. I don't want to talk about it.
We have to talk about it. It's not fine if you can't talk about your problems and reach some kind of solution. Russ, I've been back here 2 days, and it's like we're both afraid to say what's really on our minds.
I think we've been doing pretty good. I haven't lost my temper, not once, and I don't plan to anymore.
Well, good. Makes me feel very good to hear you say that. Now maybe we can sit around like rational adults and make some decisions about our future. Huh?
Our future is you and me, Beck. Together, you know, always.
And does your togetherness mean trust or jealousy? Russ, you had no right to punch Phil in the mouth.
That was a mistake. I've already admitted that, and it won't happen again. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to promise not to be jealous of Phil and the band?
Look, do we have to talk about this now?
Yeah, because I have a trip to New York coming up. I have to rehearse
Look,
with...
later, okay?
Okay, later.
This is Nancy Lawson,
Yes?
Sergeant John Brubaker, Kingsley Police Department. May I come in?
Yes, sure. What have I done this time?
Just have to ask you a few questions, that's all.
Well, if it's about this house or my mother's estate, why don't you just contact my attorney, Harold Webster?
Actually, I'm here concerning another matter, a rather personal one.
How personal?
Well, it's concerning your sister, Terry Davidson.
Terry?
Sergeant, the lady suggested that you contact her attorney.
Excuse me, are you the husband?
No, a concerned friend.
A very close friend.
I suggest you let the lady speak for herself.
What do you want?
Are you sure you wouldn't rather talk about this in private?
I have no secrets. What's this all about?
Well, as you may know, your sister's been receiving some rather mysterious phone calls.
No, I didn't know. What do you mean mysterious? Like obscene?
No, not obscene, just very annoying.
Well, what does this have to do with me? Oh, you think that I did the calls? Well, did Terry send you over here?
You know, Sergeant, I don't like your innuendo. The lady's already told you she had nothing whatsoever to do with those calls.
Mr.
Carpenter, Charles Carpenter.
Well, Mr. Carpenter, I am not accusing Mrs. Lawson of anything, and I am speaking to the lady. You got that?
Excuse me, Sergeant. I normally don't speak that way. I'm sorry.
Now, in answer to your question, your sister did not send me over here. She doesn't even know I'm here. My question to you is, do you know of anyone who would be harassing her?
No, I don't. Only me, and I wouldn't call her. We don't speak these days.
I understand you know the Davidsons.
Not very well, no.
Would you know of anyone who might be harassing her?
No, I certainly don't.
Well, thank you for your cooperation.
Is that it? Is that all you wanted?
For now. I'll see myself out.
Mrs. Mason.
Yes, I suppose I'm about the last person you ever expected to see standing here.
I am surprised, but if you're looking for Nancy, she doesn't live here anymore.
Oh, I know where Nancy's living and how she got there. Matter of fact, that's why I'm here.
I don't understand.
Please, it's really rather chilly out here. May I come in?
Did Nancy send you?
No, actually, on the contrary, I think she'd be very upset if she knew I were here.
I thought you two were friends.
Were, yes, that's the proper tense. I won't go into details, but a few little things have come between what little friendship we had.
Well, then why are you here, Mrs. Mason?
My, we do get right to the point, don't we? Okay, I am here to offer you some incriminating and interesting information about your sister. And, of course, offer my services.
Mrs. Mason, Nancy and I have enough personal problems at the moment.
Oh, yes, but I have a feeling that what I have to tell you may just end your personal problem. Now tell me, Mrs. Davidson, aren't you just a bit curious as to what happened to your mother's real will and how a new copy just happened to show up conveniently, giving most of your mother's estate to your sister Nancy?
How do you know about that?
Nancy shared a lot of things with me when we were friends. Nancy happened to find a copy of your mother's will in a box in your mother's closet. And she stole another copy from some lawyer's office. And after that, somehow she managed, well, I don't even know how, but somehow she managed to replace an original will in a safety deposit box with a fake one. And, well, she burned the real ones and drafted new ones herself.
Nancy told you this?
Nancy trusted me. Well, then she went on and did a few other things. You know, Nancy took some of this old lady's excuse me, she sold some of your mother's jewelry and household items, and I believe there was a restraining order on the property, but you know Nancy, there's no restraining her. Have I upset you or told you too much too suddenly?
Oh, no, I just don't know what to say. Are you sure about all this?
I am so sure that I'm willing to testify in court. Well, of course, I realize that we have had our differences in the past. But you see, I really did believe my father when he told me that he had proof that Laurie and my husband were having an affair. Of course, the truth came out later. And you see, that's what I would just like to help have the truth come out about Nancy. Just call it restitution to the Davidsons, if you like.
Come on in.
Hi, Mitch.
Terry, come on in. Would you care to join me for a bite to lunch?
Oh.
You're almost a little too late.
No, thanks. I'll eat back at the hospital.
Well, this must be a very important meeting for you to come rushing over here during lunch hour.
For the first time in weeks, I've got some good news. Well, it's really bad news, but for us, it's kind of good.
Oh, well, now, you just sit right down here and tell me all about it, real slow-like, hmm?
Okay. Do you know who visited me this morning before work? Miriam Mason.
The Miriam Mason, as in Charles Carpenter's spoiled child?
The very same. Do you remember some time ago when Nancy brought a friend over to meet me and Scott, and I told you that that was Mrs. Mason?
Yeah. I remember saying something about birds of a feather.
Yeah, well, according to Mrs. Mason, they aren't flocking together anymore.
What happened?
Well, I can't explain that, but she did explain a lot of other things. Mitch, she is willing to testify that Nancy stole your copy of the will and destroyed it, along with 2 other copies. Miriam also knows that Nancy drafted the new will herself.
I knew it. What'd she say about the safety deposit box?
Well, she's not too sure about the details on that, but she is willing to swear to the rest. There's a little bit more, but Mitch, do you know what this means?
Mm-hmm. It means that finally I am going to get to nail Nancy and that clown of a lawyer right to the wall.
No, Mitch. This is the leverage we need to settle out of court.
Miriam Mason. I wonder why she's doing this. I bet it is not the goodness of her heart. She has none.
But it doesn't matter, Mitch. Now, what I want you to do is make another settlement offer to Nancy's lawyer.
Oh, not again. I have to go crawling hat in hand to Webster one more time.
Nancy can have Mother's house, and she can have the money she made by selling her jewelry. Tell her lawyer that we have a witness and that this is our last offer.
Terry, please. Let me give him justice in court. Look, I owe it to the memory of your mother. To Scott.
No, Mitch. Nancy's been hurt enough. If we don't concede a little, give her something substantial, then she'll be more bitter and hurt than ever.
Terry, I just don't understand how you can handle all of this so peacefully. Even the death of Scott and Nora. But I must admit, I admire it.
Sometimes it isn't easy, Mitch. But you know who my strength is. Alex, what is it?
There's something very different looking about you today, Terry. Have you done something with your hair?
No, it's the same as always.
Well, I can't quite put my finger on it, but, well, it's your countenance. You look so happy.
Oh, thanks. Is it that obvious?
And you look younger, too.
Oh, I bet you say that to all the nurses.
No, Terry, no, I really mean it. Something's changed.
It's my outlook. The first time I feel as if a burden has been lifted from my shoulders.
Yeah, that's a big load.
I think Nancy and I are very close to an out-of-court settlement. Mitch is going to make her attorney an offer she can't refuse.
You sound confident.
I am. There have been some new developments, and I think the settlement is going to be very fair for both of us.
Well, I'm really happy for you, Terry. You know, now that all that'll soon be behind you. Well, what about the telephone calls? Has Sergeant Brubaker been in touch with you yet?
Yeah, a couple of days ago. Oh, he's a very nice man, Alex. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for all your concern and help.
Well, I'm only too glad to help. I mean, what are influential friends for, anyway?
Listen, the best part of all of this is that I have not received one phone call since Sergeant Brubaker came on the case. Not here and not at home. They've stopped.
Well, let's hope so, Terry. But don't be too sure. Not just yet.
Excuse me. Mrs. Davidson? Yes. Oh, well, I think I can. At 4? Okay. See you then.
And what was it?
Nothing. What were we discussing?
Terry, who was that?
Dr. Evans in ER. He wants me to work the balance of Barbara's shift.
Oh, and you haven't worked down in the emergency room since Scott and Nora's death.
I've been purposely avoiding it. But I've got to face it sooner or later. They need me.
Okay, all right, I'm ready. I hear you. Oh, it's you.
Hello there. I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop by to see an old friend.
Well, Miriam, your father's not here, and it hasn't been 10 days yet, and I haven't decided whether I want to have mercy on you or
Oh,
not.
really? Well, that's all right, because I really don't need your influence with my daddy anymore. You see, I helped him myself because you left me no other choice.
You're just high as a kite. Why don't you just take your pills and go back to your Dust Bowl?
No, Nancy, dear. Insults will get you nowhere. By the way, I happened to pay a visit to the white sheep of your family this morning. Terry is really such a nice person, quite unlike you, actually. But I was so glad I could help her out.
You'd better be joking, Miriam.
Would I joke about a thing like this? Terry didn't seem to think anything I said was funny at all.
What did you say to her?
Everything she could ever want to know about how her sister was ripping her off.
You're just bluffing. Huh?
Don't bet on it, dearie. I think you'll be penniless very soon now, soon as I testify at court.
I'll tell Charles, and you just
Oh,
wait.
what? And Daddy will disown me, is
Yeah.
that it, right? Wrong. No, the way I have it figured, he'll be very thankful to me. In fact, I think his gratitude could actually prove to be quite profitable.
You're crazy.
No, merely vindictive.
You little...
Get your hands off of me! What do you want to do? Add assault to your already lengthy record? You know, you could go to prison for all of this. Maybe Daddy would like his women in uniform. Is that it? I think you'd look just perfect in prison stripes. What's the matter, Nancy, dearie? You afraid the two people can play the same game?
Get out of here.
Come in.
Becky,
Phil?
you mind if I come in?
Oh, come on in. Russ isn't home.
Yeah, I was hoping. I got a friend in the registrar's office. Russ is supposed to be in chemistry class right now.
Yeah. Phil, I was gonna call you.
I thought you might be under tight security.
No, just bound by the chains of love. How's your battle wounds doing?
Touchy. But the swelling in my finger's gone down.
Russ is sorry about what he did, you know, the way he acted.
Not as sorry as I am, but I'll live.
I'm sorry too, Phil.
Hey, don't worry about it. You said you were going to call me.
Yeah, I realize that you need to know whether I'm gonna stay with the band or not.
Yeah, more than ever. Cohen called me this morning. He wants us to cut the demo tape tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, well, another band canceled without much notice. I gotta get in touch with him by 5 o'clock and tell him whether we can make it or not. And he can line up a gig for us while we're up there.
He has to know today?
Within the hour. And if you say yes, then we really gotta move because our plane leaves in 2 hours. I got the band on standby right now in rehearsal hall. And the plan is that we'll rehearse in the studio tonight and tape first thing in the morning.
I don't know what to do.
Well, what do you want to do?
It's not that simple, Phil. I'm sure I want to go to New York. It's a chance in a lifetime.
He said Russ is sorry that he jumped me. Now, you think he might be letting up about you and Summer Wind?
No. He wouldn't even talk about it this morning.
Well, I don't want to pressure you, babe. I've already done that enough. But I will ask you one question. What do you think you should do?
You sure that Cohen can get us a gig?
Yes. Now, what do you say?
Well, I think that I should go. You know?
Does that mean you will go?
Russ is just gonna have to understand. I mean, if the money that I earn from the gig is gonna help pay for the hospital bills, he can't object to that, can he?
Look, I'm gonna call Dave right now and I'm gonna tell him we're on our way, and you pack.
Okay, what do I bring? I ought to leave Russ a note.
Call him later. From New York. Now hurry.
Alex, what are you doing here?
Well, just checking to see if my services are needed. Any emergencies?
You know we'd call you if there were. You're checking on me, aren't you?
Well, since it's your first time down here since the accident, yes. Yes, I'm concerned about you.
Thanks, but I'm doing just fine. The secret is to stay busy.
Well, just remember, I'll be around if you need anything.
Okay.
Oh, have you seen Dr. Evans anywhere?
I think he's up on 2. Doctor really is such a nice doctor.
And a friend. He's been such a great help since... Never mind.
Emergency room.
Just give this to the clerk as you leave.
Brace yourself, we're about to get busy. all available doctors. Code E. There's T2.
That must be T2, Doctor.
There's been an accident on Holland Road involving some construction workers at Prescott Development.
Peter.
What?
That's where my son works, at Prescott Development.
Terry, what is it?
It might be Peter. Oh, dear God. Don't let it be Peter. Please.
Too late for him, Doc. A massive head injury. A lady's on the way.
Doctor, this one has a possible broken the neck.
Get him to X-ray immediately.
Alex?
No, Terry. No.
Alex?
No,
Isn't
Terry.
it?
No.
Alex?
Dr. Carr to ICU.
Terry,
Dr. Carr to ICU.
Terry, he's dead.
Scott!
Terry, control yourself.
Peter! Is it Peter?
Just